Hi, John.
Yes.
It's Michael Persh from Sitting in the Bar in Adelaide. Kat set me up for a chat.
Oh, yes, Michael, how are you?
I'm very well, you?
Yeah, I'm good. Have you got me okay? I'm just around McLaren Vale at the moment on my mobile. Is it all right?
That's fine. What, you're doing the winery thing, are you?
No, I'm just driving back to Victor Harbour. I live there.
I knew that. I was just having a bit of a dig. Thought you were enjoying a day of wine tasting, maybe.
Oh, that would be nice, wouldn't it? Yeah.
It would be indeed. All right, if you're ready to go, let's go.
Okay.
John Brewster, welcome back to Sitting in a Bar in Adelaide. A great pleasure to talk to you. As always, we spoke about this time last year, John, and you were recovering from your health problems with your heart. How are you going now?
Hi, how you doing, Michael? And I'm going well, going great.
That's fantastic. It was quite a shock for all us Angels fans back then. It all sort of took us all by surprise, and you as well, I guess.
Yes, it did. Yeah, because I was looking after, so I thought, and I just I just had something that happens to an awful lot of people, which is blocked arteries. So that sort of fixed me up, and I'm in great shape.
Good stuff. And it's been a busy year for you since then too. You really haven't stopped. It's with the Brewster brothers and the Angels.
No, it's been a really busy year. It looks like being a pretty busy year again this year too, and that's okay. We don't mind working.
And I spoke to Doc later on in the year, and one of the things we spoke about was the fact that you guys aren't doing the Angels thing full time. Certainly, in Doc's opinion, he found that to be able to energise himself and be more enthused about when you did get together. Does that feel the same for you?
Oh yes, it is absolutely. The Angels can't be played every week, but when we do, we love it, And what we've got coming up in Adelaide on April 17 is incredibly exciting to play with an orchestra is fantastic. The Adelaide Art Orchestra. And we're very excited about it.
It is, and that's certainly going to be one of the biggest shows on the music calendar in Adelaide this year. It's going to be something very special indeed.
Well, it's certainly special, yeah. I mean, just going through our songs and listening to the arrangements that we put together just made me realise just how much classical music has actually been part of, in particular, mine and Rick's life, as we grew up in a classical music family. Our great-grandfather, I should say, was a concert pianist and composer, orchestral conductor. So was my dad. My dad was conductor and also the lead cellist of the symphony orchestra. So it's like part of our heritage is kind of coming to meet the stuff that we did.
That's great. And Rick also did quite a lot of classical training in his younger years, didn't he?
Rick was a sensational classical pianist. In fact, he still is, but when he was doing it all the time, I think he was probably heading for a career in that, like as a concert pianist. But then I came along and kind of, not quite sure how I did it, but I think I swayed him into rock and roll. But via the jug band, we formed a moonshine jug and string band, and Rick kind of went from playing this beautiful, classical piano to playing the washboard in a jug band. And then, out of that came the Angels.
A little different indeed.
And of course, Rick then went on to become, I think, one of the finest lead guitar players that this country's ever known. And he's a sensational player. And a lot of his solos are very melodic, and they're going to really suit violins and cellos and brass and all that. It's going to be wonderful.
It will be wonderful indeed. So was that background with yourself and Rick, was that helpful in actually scoring the orchestra? How much were you guys involved in the actual score for the orchestra?
Well, that's still going on, and we are involved. There's two guys that are scoring. One's Rob John, the other one's Jamie Messenger, and they're both highly experienced, and they're into rock music as well as into classical and like as we are, and they're doing the work and they're bouncing off us basically. So if we hear something we don't quite like, we're quite free to tell them. But I tell you what, so far we really like what we're hearing.
Fantastic. I found it very interesting with the Angels covers that you've done with the Brewster Brothers and the acoustic things that Doc has done in the past, that how you've approached Angels tunes in a different way that I had, thinking about it after I'd heard them, thought I would never have thought that tune could have gone in that direction. Has that been something that's come up with picking the tunes for the orchestra show?
Yeah, well, the thing is that the Angels, all the kind of, I suppose, usual suspects will be there. All the big numbers, where the people know us for. But there's another side to us that is represented on songs like, say, Dawn is Breaking, or Skid Row After Dark, Wasted Sleepless Nights, Dark Room, that are really quite big epic numbers that weren't singles. And they're going to be included in the repertoire. And, like with orchestral instruments, those things are just going to be amazing.
They will be indeed, and well, those tunes indeed featured a lot of Rick playing organ at the time, didn't they? Which sort of will transform, as you say, into an orchestra thing.
Yeah, well, Rick will probably play a bit of Hammond, and I think we've decided we're going to do Dawn is Breaking, and that's an amazing number. I remember when we did a tour some years ago, probably 10 years ago or so, actually just before we kind of broke up. I remember playing the Palace in Melbourne. There were 2,000 people in the room, and we actually did a 3-stage tour. So we actually changed our stage set and everything, and we were playing obscure Angel songs in the breaks between each set. And one of them was Dawn is Breaking, and 2,000 people chanted every word of that song, and it's like really quite an epic poem that's set to music. So it just goes to show just how much people have got into our songs,
Well, certainly Dark Room and No Exit were albums, I guess, that still today are classed, even the lesser known tunes still classed as the definitive Angels records from that time, aren't they?
Yeah, and I'd agree with that. I think we wrote good songs after those records, but I think Face to Face, No Exit, and Dark Room really define the Angels, and like everybody, I think other contemporaries, they've come up with good songs past their classic albums, but in terms of an overall body of work, I think those 3 albums represents the best overall body of work we've ever done, and also the best musical lineup we ever had, which is the original band, which is of course what's doing Adelaide.
Wonderful stuff. And you're working with PZM Touring Company, which is John Zack and Rob Pippin, who are no strangers to putting on orchestral shows in the Festival Theatre. They've done some magnificent things with the tributes to the Zeppelin and Floyd and Queen and things they've done in the past. Yeah,
those guys are class act, and now that I live at Victor Harbour, and Rob, of course, is up in Adelaide. I've sort of known Rob, but not really well over the years, and Rob's become a very good friend. He's got some boundless energy, this guy. He's fantastic, and he's positive, and I know the tickets are selling well at the moment, so I think it's going to be a big event, and I'm very excited to have Rob as part of it.
And couldn't be a better venue than the Festival Theatre.
Yeah, and Wilson Main, of course, too, who Rick and I know from his days with Banksia Productions, and he's fantastic.
He had spent a lot of time with Channel 9. Is that my memory serves me correctly? Yeah. And the Festival Theatre is the perfect venue as well, John.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm right in saying the Angels actually have never played the Festival Theatre, but we actually have played it as the Moonshine Jug and String Band way back in when it was probably not that old a theatre, and I love it. It's a fantastic theatre. It's going to be, it's just going to be amazing, I think.
It will be a very special night indeed. And I've read conflicting things that it will be a one-off event, and I have read things that it may tour the country. Can you throw any light on that?
Well, just see how this goes. I mean, it's certainly looking like this is going to sell really well, and at the end of the day, that's probably how we make our decision as to whether we're going to do it elsewhere. But I think we will do it at the country. I can't swear to it though, because we just got to wait and see. I mean, it's still April 17 is when we play, and it's just only beginning of February now. But the way tickets seem to be selling for this, it's going really well. So, yeah, I think there's a good chance we'll do it around the country. So it's certainly something I'd like to do. I think one off would be a bit like, you know, wham bam, thank you, man, wouldn't it? You know.
Well, as you mentioned, the tunes that you have in the pipeline that you're going to play that fans don't get to hear so much, it would certainly be a shame to do that as a one-off.
Yeah, and you know, I found myself in the last Angels tour, you know, where we did what will probably be the last time people see us in the pubs for quite some time, pubs and clubs. It was a great tour, but I found myself standing on stage, hearing orchestral parts to a lot of these songs, and sort of thinking, oh gee, you know, we did put together some really good chord progressions. Like, I mean, Take a Long Line's a good example. We've just re-recorded it because we've got a longer version which I'm going to put symphony orchestra on it.
Okay.
And I'm really excited about it. It sounds great. And you know, that song's a 3-chord, you know, A, D and E song, right? You know, and yet it gets to solo and it goes to C major, goes through C, C minor, G, B minor, E. It's like, Rick and I, you know, we come up with those sort of solos. We often would come up with a chord progression and actually sing a solo, and then Rick could work it out on the guitar. And so they're really melodic, and it's going to be a great marriage with the orchestral instrument.
But as you said before, John, that's I think that's why Rick's solos are so memorable. They are sing-along solos, and you remember them note for note. I think people not so much sing along with it, but could just about hum note for note along with, especially the well-known ones.
Yeah, that's dead right. You know, that's for sure. And even the ones that aren't so well-known, when you hear the chord progressions that go with them, you know, that it's just going to lend itself beautifully. And you know what is not going to happen? It's not going to be like the Angels are going to play with an orchestra and then sort of play a sort of a softer version of the Angels. It's going to still crank, you know. Which is what we're pretty good at.
The last time I saw a similar thing in the festival theatre was when Rob did the Zep Boys thing, and that was just fantastic. Worked very well indeed, and I'm sure the Angels will surpass that for the simple fact that it's an Adelaide band that we all know and love, and playing original music that we haven't seen it done before. So it's going to be a very special night indeed.
Yeah, it is, mate, and I can tell you that I reckon Doc is he's better than he's been. He's absolutely great. He's just in really good condition. He's singing wonderfully well, and so it all bodes well for this concert.
Fantastic, mate. As I said, and I'm sure all Angels fans in South Australia and anyone else who's coming over for the show, looking forward to it indeed. Thank you. Thanks a million for having a chat. Great to talk to you again.
Yeah, lovely. Thank you.
Can I get you to do a quick tag before I let you go, John?
Yeah.
Show's called Sitting in a Bar in Adelaide. If you can do me something along the lines of, this is John Brewster, you're listening to blah, 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 or anything you want to throw in.
You mean you're listening to a song, or?
You're listening to Sitting in a Bar in Adelaide with John Brewster, or words to that effect.
Oh, okay, I could just say I'm sitting in a bar in Adelaide, could I?
You can do that. Maybe tell people who you are.
Yeah, and do I say you, or?
You don't have to, but you're more than welcome to.
You're listening to Michael and who's sitting in a bar in Adelaide, or?
Sounds good.
Okay. Hi, this is John Brewster from the Angels. You're listening to Michael, who's sitting in a bar in Adelaide.
Thank you, mate. All the best. Thank you again for your time. I appreciate it, and really looking forward to the show. All the best.
Thank you, Michael.
Cheers, John. Have a good one, mate.
Yeah, you too, mate.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. Bye.
Yeah. Hey, what was the last time I spoke to you? Yeah.